One of the things that I like most about this channel is that I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen at any given week, and it's fantastic. Kevin and Luke had this whole big discussion about being naive and being happy and being like a positive person, and like Niall did, I guess, exactly what I would expect him to do. There was one time that we fired Niall, well, Kevin fired Niall because he didn't fulfill his level of nihilistic tendencies and didn't complain enough. I see that we made the right choice in letting him try to come about and be complainy, and that was great. I enjoyed most of those rants, and Jocelyn finished out the week and was like, yeah, like, complaining isn't something that I think that is a good thing, and that's totally like a good way of going through life, and probably is fairly healthy, as Kevin said in his video. So that was great. I enjoyed where all those went. That was fun. I don't really have anything to add on to this issue because, like, I think this has been one of the longest running Vlogalogue weeks in terms of running time. We had 3 videos that broke 4-digit numbers. So that there's a lot of content out there this week, and it's all really good. So why don't we move on to talk about pipes? More specifically, pipe dreams. Because the best thing about pipe dreams is that they don't necessarily have to have any likelihood of ever happening, and you still just get to think about them. It's kind of the reason that I think the laundry is such a big thing, because it sells you the real ability to envision something that has almost no probability of happening, yet you know, you can think about it. It buys you internal mental happiness instead of an actual chance of any of that happening. Anyway, I bring this up because between last night and today, I've spent a lot of time with my head in the clouds, so to speak, thinking about a ding? No, I haven't been thinking about dings. Mute! Anyway, I've been thinking about moving out west and buying a house and basically making the US version of Apprentice A. And if you don't know who Apprentice A is, they're the company that puts on Buffer Festival every year. There are a whole bunch of people who live in a house and make YouTube videos, and they're a film production company, even though I guess they don't work with film, but they're a production company, and they have cameras, and they make cool YouTube videos, and they make videos for like Google and Canon and stuff like that, and they just live in this house, and they do all this cool stuff. In fact, one of the cooler aspects is they have this house-wide vlog where they just journal everything every day that like everyone in the house is doing, and it's really cool. And I think the only way that you actually can do a really good daily vlog is if you have a whole bunch of a cast of characters that like come in and out, and I think it does a really good job of that. And I want to be part of that. And I have friends who also want to be part of that. And so we have this concept of like next year going and living together in a house and doing all of that. And like there are some very likely aspects of that, and there are some very pipe dreamy aspects of that. And like, it could definitely happen. It is something, there are parts of it that are very likely to happen. Well, I wouldn't say very likely to happen, but it could very likely happen. And there are parts of it that were like, yes, these are totally pipe dream aspects of it. This would be the perfect scenario. And this type of thinking, this pipe dreams thinking, is something I really try to encourage in myself. I'll spend evenings just lying on the couch with just the right music, if it's just struck the right chord with me, and just like stare at the ceiling for hours when I'm meant to be going to bed, and probably should be going to bed, but I'll just let my mind like play out these ideal scenarios. And I don't know, maybe it's a bit of an addiction. I don't know. It's a very good feeling when you can just think about what could be and what could potentially be. I believe there's a song from ye old Kevin's time called Hooked on a Feeling. I only know of this because it was in the more recent Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And I don't know, it kind of pops in my head whenever I think about pipe dreams, because like I get stuck, hooked on this feeling of of thinking about this pipe dream, whatever the pipe dream may be. I certainly don't believe it's an unhealthy thing. I think it's healthy to let the brain wander and fantasize and just try to envision the most perfect future scenario, or at least the most perfect future scenario of the time, like I have been doing recently. And while reality may not always be a perfect mirror image of that perfect scenario, it doesn't have to be probable. It just has to be something that you would like to see happen and that you could envision seeing happening. Me moving to Seattle, getting a job at like Google or some really awesome company like that, and just doing awesome stuff with my friends. And like, that's a great idea and could happen, but you know, it's a pipe dream. So Vlogalogue, what are your pipe dreams? And do you think pipe dreams are a healthy thing to let the mind do, or do you think they're more of an addiction? Let me know in the comments and in your videos. And I'll see you next time. Bye!